Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my channel today. I'm Katie, and the look that I did for this video has been called a hazy eye by some people. It's very similar to a smoky eye, but with lighter tones, so it's a little more daytime friendly. I personally love this eye look, and it's something that I do all the time. It looks like it's a little bit more complicated than it is, but it's actually very simple and anyone can do it. So if you like this look, then stay tuned to see how I got it. And if you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. Thanks. So I'm going to start today by priming my face with the Maybelline Master Prime in the Blur and Smooth. I like this one because it doesn't feel heavy, it's really light, and it conceals my pores really nicely. So the foundation I'm going to use today is my Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm in the color Warm Nude 128. I'm going to use my Real Techniques sponge. Everybody asks about, Beauty Blender versus Real Techniques. I've used both of them, and to be honest with you, I feel like I get the same result. I do like that the Real Techniques has the flat side. I feel like I can get my foundation on a little bit better with that. I don't know if the Real Techniques lasts as long as the Beauty Blender, but it's a lot less expensive, so it probably averages out price-wise anyway. So if you want to save some money, then go for the Real Techniques, because I think it works great. So just dabbing it into the skin. I prefer to dab it rather than to wipe it. You're gonna get better coverage. And this Maybelline Fit Me is a medium to full coverage foundation. If you saw my last video, you know this is my favorite foundation. It just lasts a long time. It has a great finish on it without looking cakey. And it conceals my pores really, really nicely. If you have seen videos on my channel, you know I'm all about finding really affordable makeup that works just as good as the more expensive items. But I did splurge recently and bought two concealers that I'm like falling in love with. And I'm going to start off today with the IT. This is called Bye Bye Under Eye. This is IT Cosmetics. It is a really, really amazing, creamy, great coverage. I like to use this to conceal my dark circles under my eyes and maybe any areas on my face where I have a breakout or redness. And then I like to use another one for my brightening. So I'm going to start off with this first and go under my eyes. So this is a little bit more expensive, but a little bit goes a really long way with this concealer. The color that I'm using today is medium tan. And the reason for that is because I like to use a color that's closer to my skin tone first to do my concealing, and then use a brighter color after for a more brightening and like highlighting effect. So I'm just gonna go in with it's actually an eyeshadow brush, I think. It's a shadow brush, but I like to use it for this concealer. I'm telling you, you can cover anything with this concealer. It has such great coverage, and the consistency is nice and thick, so it stays in place really well. Then I'm gonna go in with my sponge and just blend that out. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I just had to try it out because I've heard everybody talking about how amazing it is, and it doesn't crease, and I haven't been disappointed whatsoever with it. So if you can spend the cash, go do it because it's worth it. Also, I don't need a ton of it, so I'm hoping it'll last me a while. And it's a pretty big tube of concealer. So the color that I'm using today is Light Sand. It's quite a bit lighter than my skin tone, but I'm using this for more of a highlighting concealer than a coverage concealer. So these are the areas that I like to keep a little bit brighter on my face. This concealer, it just has a really great finish to it. It's slightly powdery, but not to where it looks cakey under my eyes. And I mean, obviously, if you have, I have this little crease under my eye where no matter what I put in there, it's gonna crease a tiny bit, but with the Shape Tape, it definitely creases less than any other concealer I've ever used. So just blend that in with your sponge. And I like to pull that highlight color out on my cheeks a little bit. This concealer is definitely something that you're gonna use more on like a full makeup look. It's not gonna be your everyday, like, you know, throw on some blush in this concealer. So this is definitely for your more made up looks when you're doing a full face. Next, I'm gonna go in and set my face with the Maybelline Fit Me Set and Smooth Powder. The color that I'm using is Nude Beige in 125. I've been using this one a lot lately and I really like it. It doesn't have much color to it, it just has like a really nice soft finish. And I'm using a Morphe pointed powder brush with this. I don't like to set under my eyes personally. It just always looks too cakey for me, no matter what powder I have tried. So I just sort of go up onto my cheeks where I get oily, but don't go right under my eyes. And just sort of dabbing that powder in. Next, we're gonna go in with some contour. I did go recently on the Tarte website and they were having like a 70% off sale. So I thought I'd buy a couple of their products to try out. And one of the ones that I bought is a contour and highlighter combo compact. So I'm gonna use that today. I think it's originally like 30 something, 33, but I think that I got it for, I wanna say like $16. So it's a pretty good deal, especially when you're talking about a bronzer and a highlighter, and I do really like both of them. So this is called Don't Be Afraid to Dazzle. This might have been a limited edition item, I'm not sure, but they did still have it on the website recently, just a few days ago. So what we have is, and it's really good size too, it's pretty big. So we have the bronzer and the highlighter in here. It's more of a contour color than a bronzer. So what I really like about this contour color, it's pretty light and it's really neutral tone. There's no orange whatsoever, maybe a tiny bit of pink, but just enough to make it look really natural and soft. So I really like this a lot. I like the highlighter too, but for the price and for it being Tarte, which is a really expensive brand, I would definitely recommend, if they still have this, grabbing it while it's at that price. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna start off with my contour with this Morphe contouring brush. I love this little brush. It can get in the corners and in the crevices of your face really well to get a nice sculpted look. Make sure you really get into your hairline so that your contour looks natural. But see the difference with just that little bit makes my face look so much longer and thinner. Another thing when you're doing your contour, what I really like to do is get really far up behind my ear here and drag it down to give my jaw a thinner look and to just make it look a little bit more pronounced. So by putting the darker color right underneath your jaw here, it's just going to add that shadow so it looks like you have less of this. So if you want to hide this a little bit, the bronzer and contour is really going to be your friend. So another thing I've really been liking to do lately is after my contour, And this is only with some of the contour colors that I use. Those ones that are a little bit more pink or a little bit more mauve toned, I love using them because they look super natural on your face. But I like to keep them really defined. So to soften that line up a little bit, I'm gonna go over with a bronzer and with a bigger brush to just sort of like soften everything out a little bit and give it a little bit of a warmer, glowy tone. So when you do this step, you can use something that's a little bit more shimmery if you like, or something that has a little bit more of a glowy look to it. You don't want to do that with your contour color because your contour needs to be matte because you're trying to create structure to your face. But when you go in with the bronzer after, that can be a little bit softer, a little bit warmer. It can be, you know, have a little bit more of an orange tone to it. So what I'm gonna use today, this is Physicians Formula. It's called Butter Bronzer. It's nice and light, it's not too dark. It doesn't have shimmer necessarily, but it is a little bit more of like a glowy finish to it than the Tarte contour that I just used. So, and it smells like coconut kind of, or like a pina colada. So the brush I'm going to use for this bronzer today, it's just a big fluffy brush, and I like this because it's just going to soften those lines that I just did with the contour color. And then with the bronzer, you can really drag down your neck so that it matches the more tan part of your face. Next, I'm gonna go in with my highlighter, and I'm gonna go ahead today and use the one from the Tarte Compact that I showed you with the contour. It's kind of like a golden iridescent tone. It doesn't have a lot of color, so it's nice and soft. Any skin tone could probably use this one. So the two different brushes that I typically use for my highlighter is a fan brush by Morphe and my e.l.f. highlighting brush. What I find is that the fan brush does a lighter application of it, and the highlighting brush is a little bit more intense. So if you're doing this daytime, you don't want super like crazy highlight, I would go for the fan brush. If you want a little bit more of an intense look with your highlighter, then I would use the e.l.f. highlighting brush. It's just a little bit more compact, so it puts a little bit more product on your face. What I do usually do is I always use this one for my Cupid's bow because it just controls it a little bit better and gets a little bit more product there. We'll just use this one today. So next, what I like to do, I don't bake, and I know a lot of people like to bake underneath their contour here to get it to stand out a little bit more. I don't bake, but what I'll do is just go in with my sponge that has, you know, foundation and concealer on it from using it, and I'll just go in under that line to make it a little bit more defined. And a good guideline for that is basically the corner of your mouth up to the inner part of your ear here. So that's going to be a good line to go down to just get a more defined look underneath the contour there. I already have my brows drawn in a little bit today, but I'm going to go over them with my usual LA Girl Shady Slim pencil. It's just my favorite, and it's $3, so. Totally forgot my blush, which I don't, do you guys do like a specific order for your makeup? I feel like mine's always exactly the same. Like I always do step by step, one thing after another. I totally forgot my blush, which I usually do after my highlighter. So this is, like I said, I think it was just called like a domed blush brush. I do like it. We're gonna use it today with my MILANI Cosmetics blush. This is called Romantic Rose. Now we're gonna do our eyes. I bought this COVERGIRL Outlast All Day Concealer. It's okay for my face, but I actually really like it a lot for an eye primer because it doesn't crease. And it keeps my eyeshadows in place pretty well. So we'll use this today. The color that I have with this, I'm using Fair. It's not the first one I grab for like my face concealer, but I have used it a few times and I like it, but it works pretty good for my shadow primer. So I'm gonna go in with that contour color from the Tarte palette, and you just wanna put it in your crease like you normally would with your eyeshadow. Just a little bit, just so that your eyeshadows are gonna blend out really smoothly. And I'm using just it's actually kind of a wider, fluffier crease brush. This is by True, which you can't find that anymore. But it's a little bit fluffier and a little bit bigger because I want this transition color to extend a little bit more than my crease color that I'm going to use, so that I make sure it's gonna have, there's gonna be nice soft lines. I don't know if everyone calls it this, but I've heard of this lately called a hazy eye. So it's similar to a smoky eye, like I talked about before. Same idea, same concept, but I'm gonna use lighter colors. And what I'm gonna use today for my eyeshadows is this Maybelline The City Kits Pink Edge, it's called. I got this at Target. I thought it was really pretty. It has a lot of eyeshadows and it even has a highlighter and a blush in it. I'm gonna use that same brush and I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline palette that I just showed you. And I'm gonna go in with this color here. It's a really nice like mauve-y lavender tone. And I'm gonna use that in my crease with the same brush. These shadows actually blend pretty well. God, I need to pluck my eyebrows. I don't realize until I sit in front of this light, like, there's a lot going on over here. Sorry, focus. Oh my God, you guys, seriously, I need to pluck like my eyebrows so bad. Good. I'm gonna go in with that same lavender mauve tone. For this hazy eye look, you're gonna want a little bit more shadow under the eye than you would usually do, because that's kind of what's gonna make it have that hazy, lightly smoky look to it. So I'm gonna run that same color all the way under my eye. And we're not gonna be doing any eyeliner or anything with this look, so you want it to be pretty pigmented underneath with this shadow. I'm taking it all the way in, just right at the inner corner of your eye. So next what I'm gonna do is go in with this coppery golden kind of shimmery tone from the palette. It's right next to that lavender tone we were using. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on my eyelid. This is a MAC 213 brush. I really like this color. It's really pretty. What you can do if you feel like you're not getting enough pigment there, take the brush and hold it upside down so most of it is placed right there on your eyelid and not in your crease. And then I'm just going back over with that fluffy crease brush that I was using and just softening a little bit, so that if any of that shimmery tone got too high, you can just blend it out. Next, I'm gonna take the highlighter that I used earlier from the Tarte palette and just pop a little bit of that on the inner corner of my eye. I'm gonna take that same highlight and use this e.l.f. brush. It is called the Smudge Brush by e.l.f. And just apply a tiny bit on the brow bone. All right, if you have watched my videos, you know I am all about the Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. That's my favorite mascara. But I'm always trying new ones, and I did find this CoverGirl Queen mascara, and I like it a lot. It's very, very similar to the Lash Paradise. The brush is a lot different, but I really like the way that this separates my lashes and it keeps them curled. All right, next we're on to lips, and today I'm gonna use an Essence lip liner. It's in Satin Mauve number 6. You can find these at Target. Next I'm gonna go in with my Revlon lip gloss. This color is Supernatural 215. I'm using this because today I really want to show you my Becca lip gloss toppers that are like super shimmery. They really work best if you put them over a lip gloss or a lipstick. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm like seriously obsessed with these Becca glosses lately. It's called the Liquid Crystal Lip Topper Glow Gloss. And normally I want to say they're like 20 bucks, maybe around there. I got them for 11, so I bought 3 of them online just because I was super stoked on them. The color I'm going to use today is Rose Quartz Seashell. So these are really great toppers. They just leave a really like shimmery, pretty finish on your lips. I mean, they're just so pretty. I love it. I'm not a huge fan of them like by themselves right onto my lip, but I love putting them over like a nice smooth gloss just to enhance it and just to give it a pop. So if you can find these, I know they have them at Sephora. I think they have them at Ulta as well, but you can get them online. I don't know if the sale is still going on, but like amazing. I love these so much. They're so shimmery and so pretty. So that's the final look for you today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it's helpful for you next time you want a soft but sexy eye. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.